Loving it, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I blew you out here. I got wide.
Didn't actually.
I thought I was...
First of all, I was like, I shouldn't have probably been that close, but when you did it, I was like, oh, wait, but it was like it happened over there.
It's not a 450, it's not throwing anything up.
But you did it. I mean, if you're gonna end up out there.
I had to, I just missed the inside.
And it was badass, and the roost was like over. I'm like...
It just sounds cool because it's a two-stroke. I was the guy that asked earlier.
The sound of that bike, for sure.
I can ride a 450 so much easier, but this is better for practice just based on it's so much more technical.
I was just talking to him. I go, you know, back when I raced, not that it's not back in my day thing.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it is back in his day. It is right.
But yeah, I mean, Ward was Ward. Glover was Glover. Lachine was... Me and Lachine were similar. Johnny was Johnny. Barnett.
Yeah, but you had so much more endurance than Lachine. You can compare riding styles, but you can't compare the actual rider.
Flavors.
Yeah.
Now there's like vanilla.
Yeah, but look at how optimized everything is with the fish where they overlap the practice times now, so everybody does the same lengths, it's fastest.
But
to the bikes,
there's just not that many people, like, especially from the amateurs. What we got here, like the more amateur towards pro guys that are coming up to the pro, everyone just kind of does a similar thing, and there's no one that really stands out. And when someone does, and you see that guy, you're like, oh, well, that's Destry Abbott's son. He's been working on stuff for the whole life, like I do. And so that's what I mean. Like, there's just not that much observance. There's not that many people that can articulate, like, oh, well, see, he was over the front end and he held his front brake all the way to the middle of the berm and he stayed right in and he got on the gas easy instead of gassing it. So his real wheel could slide out, hit all those holes and kick the other way.
Is that what happened here? Did he just wrap the back end around?
Yeah.
Okay.
He just went in, just sitting on the middle of the bike, like, okay, here I am, figure A, sit like
and
this.
no clutch, and when the power hit, then there was nothing there, just whoop.
And if you're lucky, it'll be great. The run before that was pretty good, but that run, I watched it. I'm like, oh, man, there you go. So I immediately went over and said, sit way more on the outside edge of the bike, because he did a flat track recently. Well, I don't know recently, but 4 or 5 months ago out in...
If he's done it at all, that's good for a kid his age.
Yeah. They had over at Costa Mesa, where they did the Speedway, they had a flat.
They had a dirt track
and
night.
He kicked everyone's ass on a mini bike. So I'm like, well, how come he didn't have that figured out right? It's a bumpier thing, but it's still a flat track.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, and he was like, yeah, it's more on the outside edge, huh? And I go, yeah. And I still don't think he did it enough. Not as much as Destry's son was doing. Right.
It's so hard for him coming off of mini bikes to big bikes. That's such a big transition stage where he could control that mini bike so good, and now you can.
Those guys at that level do get adapt so quick.
Do they?
First time I saw a real Filippo on a 250F, I was like,
this is happening.
Well, just go ahead and forward all his mail to the podium, because that's where he's going to be standing a lot.
You haven't had one of those.
I watched his first Supercross at Anaheim, and he really looked like his nerves were kind of all over him.
Supercross is different. That's just like...
Oh, outdoor, it's scary for him.
It's like being in a crowd of 1,000 people and somebody singles you out to answer a question. You're just, gosh, I really answered what I didn't. I should have said, you know. So there was probably more of that, but I was watching him on a day when he could just kind of do whatever.
Oh,
it was out at Cahuilla, and the way they grade the track, you get these edges, you know, that build up, and he just knew like how to kind of pump the track and where to land on the downside of the jump, and then let it float for a second, grab another gear, and then use that and cut back to the other side, and then, I don't like that berm that's there, so I'm gonna do this and stay in the loose stuff, and then hit another outside. I'm like,
you guys got about 35
he's
minutes
just
for the next
thinking, like,
by the time you
I didn't even think of that.
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah.
Two-stroke tips on this. Anything. I spun almost every time off the concrete. I know it's not clean, but still.
You're gonna on a 250 more than a 4-stroke.
You gotta show more respect.
You've got 2 beats instead of 4.
Yeah.
You know, so you're gonna
a little lower idle, a little lower.
Probably a little lower idle, like you said with Brock. I was just sitting there.
Patient.
Yeah, and then you just ease it on. If you already have the throttle up really high, you're probably going to go higher.
I tried to keep it an 1/8, but I was getting a little more when it was multiple people in line. You kind of lose your tone over the rest.
We're just starting to get popular, but not everybody was on him yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was coaching Travis one year, and they were at Redbud, if I'm right, and he's like, I can't hear my bike.
Oh, that was at
125.
Ohio at Kenworthy.
Okay, so he's like, I can't hear mine. I don't know what to do. I don't know where the R's need to be because the damn 4-stroke's next to me.
Drown it out.
They like practice starts and put a Sharpie mark.
I put a mark on his grip and his throttle. I said, that's where it is, dude. Do not change it. Don't second guess it. Those are when you get good starts right
And to think, less than a decade later, they now have the ECUs that do that for them. Where
Yeah, you
we
can
watch.
laptop that.
Yeah.
There's an app for the
Very cool.
Then it was Sharpie.
Well, Sharpies and smarts.
Me too. Me too.
Thank you guys so much for being out here. It's cool.
Thanks for coming.